What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I kind of want to do a little bit of an unorthodox review. This is more so a comparison. I haven't done a comparison like this probably since the 10s comparisons that I did like 8 months ago. But I figured I might as well do, I still have the OnePlus 7 Pro. I have not made a video about this in so long. So I'm like, I might as well utilize it, do a comparison or something. And not much has changed with this specific phone. It's only been like 3-4 weeks probably since it's been out. But I wanted to do a comparison between this and the iPhone 10. Now, what's interesting is the iPhone 10, there's still a lot of hype around it. And right now in the used market, I would definitely say a used iPhone 10, the 256 gig variant, is about the same price as a brand new OnePlus 7 Pro. So they both have the same amount of storage and they're both around the same price, so I figured I might as well compare them. Alright, I had to switch up the setup, but I will definitely say the iPhone 10 is much smaller than the OnePlus 7 Pro. As you can see, it's probably, I would say it's even bigger than the 10s Max. This thing is pretty massive. In terms of like the width of both of them, they're almost the same. The OnePlus 7 Pro, again, is a little bit bigger. The OnePlus 7 Pro is just noticeably longer than the than the iPhone 10. A super interesting thing about the OnePlus 7 Pro is that it does have a fingerprint sensor, as you can see right there. The iPhone 10 does not have it. It has Face ID, which is good, don't get me wrong, but I definitely do like this, even though I will say, even though the OnePlus 7 Pro's fingerprint sensor isn't like 100% accurate all the time, I still prefer this technology over Face ID, so, hate on me if you want to, but that's my opinion. In terms of the way they feel, I will definitely say, I think the iPhone 10 still feels a little bit more premium than the OnePlus series phones, and that has a lot to do with the way they feel on the side. Even though the OnePlus 7 Pro does have the illusion that it is thinner because, it has the curved screen up top and also like the curved back, so the thinness feels a little bit more thinner. I still prefer the iPhone 10's stainless steel chassis around it because it just feels that much more premium. We still have glass on the back on both of them. They both still feel very, very premium. Like if you're holding one over the other, you won't necessarily feel like one, it feels way more premium. But again, a super important thing to keep in mind is that the OnePlus 7 Pro on release date was actually about $200 to $300 cheaper than the iPhone 10 was on release date. And that's for the base model of both of them. The base model of the iPhone 10 only had 64 gigs, so kind of an interesting thing right there. On the back, we do have a dual camera setup on the iPhone 10 and a 3-camera setup on the OnePlus 7 Pro. And what I'll definitely tell you is that in terms of features, the OnePlus 7 Pro I think has the advantage, definitely for sure, in terms of the features themselves. But I think in terms of raw quality of the photos, dude, you might be surprised me saying this, I think the iPhone 10 might have the advantage. And that's weird, I know that's weird to say because the OnePlus 7 Pro's camera should be better, 48 megapixels versus the 212 megapixel sensors on the iPhone 10. I still think to this day, a lot of people say this, megapixels are not everything, and I'll definitely tell you, I think the OnePlus 7 Pro is a very good camera, don't get me wrong, it still has a ton of features, but I think the sheer quality, I think the iPhone 10 might win in that department. It's not the end of the world, I think it's a very good camera, the OnePlus 7 Pros, but I think, man, Apple nailed it out of the park with the iPhone 10's camera setup, in my opinion. In terms of software support and just software in general, I'll definitely tell you, OnePlus's software, the Oxygen OS, is one of the most amazing things ever. I love it so much. I think it's one of the best things about the OnePlus series phones. Their software is definitely enhanced because it's a mixture of stock and also like it's almost like a custom ROM on your phone, in my opinion, and you have so many features that you don't necessarily have on stock Android, which is super, super cool. But in terms of the longevity, again, the iPhone 10 will probably end up winning here. We should be getting 2 full versions of OS on the OnePlus series phones, whereas on the iPhone 10, we're getting multiple years of support. We're getting, like it started off on iOS 11, right now it's on iOS 13 actually, and it should be getting 2-3 more versions of iOS easily. So we still have a lot of years left on this thing. I literally cannot wait to see what version of iOS this thing ends on, because the hardware inside, apparently there's still a lot of hardware in here that we're not utilizing. So I'm curious to see what Apple actually meant when they said that. But in terms of software support and longevity, the iPhone 10 will actually probably end up lasting longer than the OnePlus 7 Pro. So that's kind of a huge thing right there. But one huge thing I didn't even hit on that you probably wouldn't be able to see over the screen is actually the OnePlus 7 Pro screen. Now, I don't know which screen is better. Maybe the OnePlus 7 Pro's is in terms of just quality. But one cool thing that the OnePlus 7 Pro screen has is a 90 hertz refresh rate. And over the camera, you can't tell. Like if I switch through both of them, you would think they're exactly the same. But the super cool thing about this is that the refresh rate is faster. So to actually be able to refresh the screen faster, so it looks like your screen is just like literally almost like paper. Like it looks like you're just flipping through things like it's nothing, and it's just so cool. And it makes your phone feel that much more fluid and fast. Like I said, you won't be able to see it through the screen, but I'd really recommend, going to a T-Mobile store or whatever, Best Buy, and playing with one of these and seeing it for yourself, because honestly, once you start seeing it like this, I would, it's really hard to go through something like an iPhone 10 or something, or a 10s, because of that refresh rate. rate. So maybe Apple will do that in the future, who knows. It's a super cool thing that OnePlus put into a, budget phone. It's not a budget phone, don't get me wrong, but into a phone that's much cheaper than a phone like an iPhone 10 on release date. So that kind of covers up everything I wanted to mostly hit on. I want to do a little bit of a speed test. Like I said, this is a super quick comparison. I don't think anybody's going to make any informed decisions about this, but I am kind of curious to see, how much faster a OnePlus 7 Pro or iPhone 10 is compared to one each other. So let's get into it. Alright, so I moved about 15 feet. Now this is going to be a super quick one. I just have a couple apps that I want to load up. Now, technically speaking, the OnePlus 7 Pro has a way better specs on paper than the iPhone 10. So I am kind of curious to see how much better the OnePlus 7 Pro is. But again, sometimes you never know. So let's go ahead and load up Facebook. 3, 2, 1. With these small apps, it's kind of hit or miss. The OnePlus 7 Pro won there, as it probably should have. Let's do Netflix. 3, 2, 1. And again, the OnePlus 7 Pro is faster, and they're both pretty much updated to the most, up-to-date version of both of these softwares. Let's go ahead and do Quizlet. 3, 2, 1. And again, the OnePlus 7 Pro is substantially faster in my opinion. It's not even just like a little bit. It's pretty noticeable. Let's go do Dropbox. 3, 2, 1. And again, the OnePlus 7 Pro is faster. This is pretty impressive. Let's do Bofa. 3, 2, 1. Again, OnePlus 7 Pro is faster. I think that's going to be a reoccurring trend in this comparison, and why iPhone 10 is still loading. That one took forever for some reason. I don't know what was going on there. Let's do Thank You. 3, 2, 1. Now I'm trying to be as accurate as possible, and as you can see, the OnePlus 7 Pro did get into it. Let's see if they stutter at all. I think they're good. And some games I realize don't really take advantage of the 90 Hz refresh rate. It could just be my eyes. Maybe it's just like a stupid thing I just said. But that is... actually, no, I take that back. I think the OnePlus 7 Pro is still, still pretty capable in that sense. Let's go ahead and do Stack. 3, 2, 1. Now, a super annoying thing about Stack is that it always, has that pop-up that comes up. Let's do Snake versus Blocks. 3, 2, 1. And again, the OnePlus 7 Pro won in that sense. Now, I think an ad does pop up. Okay, so it's down there, so it's no big deal. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's see if any of these stutter. And I think they're both playing pretty well. So not really running into too many problems there, so that's good. I love playing this game on camera, so we're going to play this for a second. But the cool thing about the OnePlus 7 Pro is, like I said, you do have specific gaming modes like you might have seen up there. So even though on the OnePlus 7 Pro it's faster, all this stuff, it actually does kind of clock up the CPU in my sense. In the sense that it does enable the gaming mode, so it uses up more resources. So that might mean that it closes things out in the background for RAM management, who knows? So I'll load up older apps in a second, but let's do Temple Run. 3, 2, 1. Now this is a classic game. If you guys don't know about Temple Run, you guys are missing out on life. Like, I don't even know what you guys are doing in that sense. So we're going to redo that. 3, 2, 1. And it might be that the iPhone 10 is going to beat the OnePlus 7 Pro at something finally. And yeah, just by a little bit though, it wasn't really that big of a difference in my opinion, but it's still, it was close. Let's do Fruit Ninja. 3, 2, 1. And the OnePlus 7 Pro, they're kind of glitched up a little bit, which is kind of interesting. As you can see, we're already into the game here, and we're just kind of, I guess we finally got into it on the iPhone 10 over there too. So kind of weird, I was expecting the iPhone 10 to be, somewhat faster maybe. Let's go and do Real Racing 3, 3, 2, 1. Now this is a pretty big game, so I would be pretty shocked to see if the OnePlus 7 Pro would be slower in a sense. But another thing you have to keep in mind is that on the iPhone 10, I've been playing this game quite a bit, and you can see we're already in the OnePlus 7 Pro, we're into it. Which is crazy because as you open more games and everything, now we're finally into it on the iPhone 10. But as you open more games, more of those apps and everything are cached in the background, so I don't really play it that often on the OnePlus 7 Pro, but on my iPhone 10, I have played these things probably a lot more than on the OnePlus 7 Pro, which is weird. So let's see how good RAM management was on both of these devices. Let's go ahead and open up like Facebook, for example. 3, 2, 1. And as you can see, the OnePlus 7 Pro still kept it in the background. The iPhone 10 did end up closing it in the background. So let's go ahead and open up like Netflix, which should be open on both. See, again, on the iPhone 10, even though it only has 4 gigs of RAM, usually on iOS it isn't really that bad. But again, we're on iOS 13 on here, and we're on, Oxygen OS on here. So maybe there are some issues there. We can go ahead and load up Temple Run, which we just opened not even that long ago. 3, 2, 1. Okay, they're both good on there. Okay, so thankfully that didn't end up messing up. But as you can see, the OnePlus 7 Pro is substantially faster than the iPhone 10. I was not expecting it to be that much faster. I was expecting it to be, sometimes faster on the OnePlus 7 Pro, sometimes faster on the iPhone 10. But I would say about like only one app opened up faster on the iPhone 10, which was, Temple Run. So that's pretty crazy in my opinion. Now to kind of end off this comparison, I mean, the OnePlus 7 Pro being the newer phone, I would expect it to be as fast as it is, and all that stuff. But I honestly was not expecting the iPhone 10 to be as slow as it was either. I mean, this is still a very tremendous phone. This is my main phone I use every day. I like it a lot. But seeing the OnePlus 7 Pro be that much faster is really cool in my opinion, seeing the improvement of technology. This isn't more so like an iOS versus Android thing. This is just sheer hardware, seeing how much faster the OnePlus 7 Pro is. I knew the 7 Pro was going to be faster, but that's pretty interesting, man. But ultimately, if you have the money, get both of these phones like I did. Just kidding. If you have to choose between either or, I mean, there's definitely pros of the iPhone 10. You're getting a solid camera, you're getting longevity and software support, you're getting a lot of cool things, a lot of cool features. The battery life is pretty good on the iPhone 10 as well, but in my opinion, I do think the OnePlus 7 Pro is the more superior phone. And I've owned almost every single OnePlus series phones as well, and I like these phones a lot. It's incredible to see how OnePlus, is able to utilize and get all these new technologies on a phone that's much cheaper than the flagship. So I'll definitely tell you overall, the OnePlus 7 Pro is the better phone between the two. If you have the money, go for the 7 Pro. You're getting a much better phone. I've even seen these in the used market for like $600-ish, $650. So that's a pretty big discount. And I'd really recommend you guys to pick it up. So that's pretty much it, man. Just a quick little comparison from two amazing phones. If you have any questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it'll mean so much if you guys could hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. All those links are linked down below. I would really appreciate if you guys could check it out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.